Hello, everybody, and welcome to Fantasy NBA Today, a sports ethos show brought to you by our great partners at FanDuel. I'm Aaron Bruski, joined as always by the great Dr. A. In today's show, we're diving into the top ads, breaking down players in the drop zone, and highlighting the best streamers to help you guys win your week. We're going to get started right away, but I want to thank all of our new listeners. Since around December, we've been putting a ton of effort into our video and pod content, how we structure shows, how we deliver them to you guys. The response has been nothing short of amazing. The growth shows not only the numbers, but also the way you guys are reaching out to us. And we really thank you for that. And send us your questions. We want to engage with you guys. We truly appreciate it. And we are grateful to have you guys with us on this ride. So let's get started. Doc, it feels like a year ago. It feels like yesterday. How are you doing? I haven't seen you in about a week. And who is your top ad?
I haven't seen myself for a week, Brew. I've been in a Johnny B's winding down its 50-year run. Coming to an end on Saturday, so it's a very sad time to be in Dahlonega, but we're gonna get through it and carry on. My first ad is Brandon Pajemski. I was kind of high on him going into the weekend, and he really came through in that Sunday game. He only had one game for the weekend, but it was 18 points, 15 boards, 9 dimes, a steal, 3 triples. 11, 7, and 6 with a steal and a block and 3 in the game before that. 16, 5, and 2 before that. 16, 4, and 5. 14, 6, and 4. I mean, dude's kind of balling, and Steph Curry's not going to be back for a minute. I do think I'd rather have DeAnthony Melton than Brandon Pajemski, but I feel like Pajemski's available in more leagues, so I decided to go ahead and highlight him.
Yeah, I got a tinfoil hat theory cooking, and I hate it's the slow play of Stephen Curry this week, and then something happens where they lose some games. I'm looking at the standings right now; they're 8th right now. My theory that teams in the 9 and 10 slot don't care starting to kick in, and yeah, it's his last rodeo. Not last. I'm just getting ahead of myself. Stephen Curry's my favorite basketball player of all time, and all of this knee stuff has me in a bit of a place over here. But like at some point, I think they say, well, look, we got no chance with this squad. And okay, we're not going to risk Steph's knee for this squad. We'll run it back next year. So if that tinfoil hat theory pans out, Doc, it could be Brandon Pajemski season. It could be DeAnthony Melton season. And I also like Melton over Pajemski. So hopefully I'm wrong on all of this and we get good news and Steph is playing next week. All right, I'll get us to Quentin Jackson, who is a 2-way contract player, has a handful of games left, and he had a nice 2-game stretch, 16 points, 3.5 boards, 4.5 assists, no defensive stats, but 2 threes in that time. Super explosive. This guy had a missed dunk in yesterday's game where his head was up by the rim, and he threw the ball through the rim, and then it bounced off of his shoulder and back out. This guy's just making plays left and right. And unlike other places, I can't believe I'm saying this, Doc. Unlike other places, Indy's tank feels somewhat reliable right now. And it feels like Quentin Jackson will get signed to a regular deal. And then it's pretty much off to the races. Once they start sitting their main guys, if Quentin Jackson gets, say, 25, 30 minutes a game, he's already bringing back top 125 value in low 20s action. So he's got the kind of spunk and punch that we're looking for in a silly season hero right now, and pretty much unsought after on the waiver wire. I've been picking up Quentin Jackson left and right in high stakes leagues with 200-player formats without much competition. So Quentin Jackson is my first ad. Doc, who do you got next?
Yeah, Quentin Jackson, I am intrigued. I do like him. I'm still having a little trust factor with him. I mean, the one time I'd kind of dove in on Quentin Jackson thinking he was going to go off. He didn't play that game. And Carlisle's still weird with these guys' minutes. But I think you're onto something. I think once we cross the threshold where, the Siakams of the world are not really featured for that team anymore, it's going to be Quentin Jackson's season. Like him and Jarris Walker should just both go off. Why do we keep calling Jarris Walker Jarris?
Because he's 9 feet tall and fires thunderbolts of lightning out his arse. That's
okay. My second pickup is Guy Santos. Sunday's game was 20 points, 4 boards, 2 assists, 4 steals, 2 threes. He was only 2 of 10 from 3 and 7 of 18 from the field. But Guy Santos is kind of coming on. he's scoring points. He's got a 4-steal game. He's got a 5-steal game in his last 5 games. He's hitting threes. He's hitting most of his free throws, and he's got a 7-assist game, a 4-rebound game. So he's just kind of fun right now. He's scoring points more than anything. But like we were talking about Golden State, kind of throwing in the towel at some point and just letting these guys go. I think Guy Santos is probably good to go the rest of the season.
Yeah, he's another one. He's in that tier below those two, Brandon Pajemski and DeAnthony Melton. But, in terms of players that I'll see that are available out there, I was just kind of going back and forth. On one level, it's like he'll be a 1-week guy. And then, I'm looking for guys that can play the rest of the season and betting hopefully against a Steph Curry return. Because I think if Steph returns, it kind of throws things off for him. Not enough stats in the box score. Let's get to an even weirder place. Memphis is pretty weird these days. Olivier Maxence Prosper. This guy's averaged 16 points, 4 boards, 2.5 assists, 3 steals, half a block, and half a 3 in his last 2 games. And Santi Aldama's just gone. Like, it was funny, Doc. Remember we had Santi Aldama as a trade deadline winner? And now he has a knee injury that the last real reporting, DeMichael Cole out of Memphis had Coach Thomas Isalo saying that every time he gets out there, it flares up on him. That's just terrible calculus for this tanking situation here for Santi Aldama. I don't think they're bringing Zach Edey back for whatever it's worth. And that just leaves a wide open space for Olivier Maxence Prosper, Gigi Jackson, and others to jump into. So
Taylor Hendricks.
Yeah, it's wide open. And hell, I'm going to go off the top of my memory because I added in 30 deep, Doc. What is it? The last name Lovering. There's a 10-day guy in Memphis. Lovering, everybody.
Lovering.
He's lovering around. So Olivier Maxence Prosper shot in the dark, but he's had some spunk, and I believe he's a first-round pick. I think he was a 24 pick for the Dallas Mavericks. He is it's a live wire in Memphis. This is what silly season dreams are made of. Doc, who do you got?
I got my boy staying right here in Memphis, Gigi Jackson, 28-9, 2 a steal, a block, 3 in his last game. 24-3 with a steal and a block in his game before that. 21-5-3 with a block and 3 3-pointers the game before that. I mean, I don't know what else you need to know. This Memphis ship be sinking, and Gigi appears to be very safe.
You know what? I want to give you your flowers there, Doc. I believe it was like 3-4 weeks ago, before the break even, that you were basically all over Gigi Jackson, and I think I was maybe a week after that. This is the new and leaner, meaner, sleeker, more athletic Gigi Jackson, who has been consistent with the defensive stats. He's been consistent when on the floor. He's the guy that can score. I'm going to just keep rhyming apparently, but he's like, I think, impervious to this tank. He might be amongst the best pickups. If you go back a couple weeks and go rest of the season from that, he might be one of the best pickups of the last third of the season here. So congrats on that call, Doc. Let's get to Ousmane Dieng, who had just an amazing start in Milwaukee. And then he even had the coaches talking about him. Darvin Ham was all over the moon about this guy. And then Doc Rivers is like, nah, we don't do that. We just don't play young players. That's not what we do. Let's toss Cam Thomas out there. Let's toss Kyle Kuzma out there. Let's let Bobby Portis chuck. Let's let Kevin Porter and Ryan Rollins have a shoot off, and we'll try to win games at the same time. Ousmane Dieng barely played in the last game and really probably tanked his fantasy value in a lot of folks' eyes. I think with this thing, you play in a little bit of a luck angle here. The Milwaukee Bucks, if they decide to cut this guy loose as they themselves tank, you might have yourself a live wire. I have questions about efficiencies. I have questions about whether or not this will actually happen for him. But one thing that's cool about Dieng is that we've seen him and throughout his entire career in very small spaces. He'll get a game here, he'll get a game there, and it'll be poppy. And he had that happen just last a couple weeks ago. So Dieng, if he was dropped because somebody doesn't want to deal with any of this, I think, there's probably like a 25 to 40% shot that in about a week or two, if Giannis looks at the standings and says, you know what, we're the 11 seed right now. We're 1.5 behind Charlotte. We got no chance of catching Charlotte. Nobody else is going to fall to us. And why the hell am I out here risking my future? And Milwaukee saying, why are you out here risking our future, sir? They finally just pack it in, and it's Jang season in Milwaukee. All right, enough of the ads, Doc. Oh, wait, no, you have more ads. Look at this. It's a bonus. What do you got?
We got Nemish Keita of the Celtics. Had 10 points, 12 boards, 3 blocks on Sunday. 9.6 boards, 2 steals on Thursday. He's just not going away. And he's also kind of ruining Nikola Vucevic in the process. Vuce has been tough, man. He's been tough to live with lately. And Keita has held on to that starting job. Sometimes the minutes are low, sometimes they're high. You just don't really know what's going to happen with him, but he's been solid, man. I mean, he's going to make almost all of his shots every game. He's not going to shoot enough free throws to matter, and he's going to get boards and blocks and steals and some points. So I think, especially if you're in a deeper league, that Keita is a guy that should be rostered.
I'm in the notoriously the high stakes leagues are two center 200 player leagues. I had Keita everywhere. Keta, by the way, it's Keta, not Keita. We got good sources on this one, really good sources on this one, and so I had to drop him in a lot of places because of the low upside, and then I'm turning around and picking him back up, thankfully, and he is a top 80 guy, just like Vooch over the last 5 games or so. And to your point, I think it's a case of there's 2 different things that they need to have done on the court. And both guys perform their functions, and both will have that late round value at least. So
true. I really hope Andre hooks up some sort of electroshock deal where every time I say someone's name incorrectly or just turn Walker into Wallace or whatever, I just get zapped, and then it snaps me back into reality.
Actually, send your input to at Ethos Fantasy NBA so we can figure out what to do to Doc when he messes up a name. Not that I ever do that. It wouldn't be anything that I need to have happen.
Dude, I feel like we've traded places. I feel like you're more on top of it than I am now.
Was it the body switch comedy? It rages on. Let's get to the drop zone, Doc. Who do you got?
In the drop zone, I got Igor Joman, the point guard for the Nets. I don't have a bunch of numbers pulled up, but all I know is Nolan Traore is getting a ton of minutes, and they're starting next to each other, and it's sort of kind of ruined what Joman was doing before Traore became a thing. And I the bottom line is I'd much rather have Traore on my team going forward than I would Joman.
Yeah, it's really interesting when you consider the draft status and everything that went into it to get Joman. That's a lot of people weren't in on that, and then people who like the kind of the multifaceted, versatile, tall guy that can dribble, but defensively has issues. That cohort really liked the pick, and everybody else didn't like the pick. And here comes Traore, maybe possibly passing him. It's hard to say in the tank that is Brooklyn. Let's go to a team that's not tanking. Let's get to the Cleveland Cavaliers and Jalen Tyson. Really, really bad. I've been back and forth a little bit with this one, and this last couple games, 6 points per game, 2.5 boards, practically nothing. And watching him even, it's just something about the fit. Like before, where you would see a player, he's got a lot of bulk, some size, he's quick, but it's mostly the speed, the strength, speed combo for him that's making him get by people and allowing him to be good. It just feels like maybe it's because James Harden's a little bit slow and bulky that the two together is not working out. Jalen looks slow out there. Could be any other things that we maybe don't know about, but it doesn't matter because he's not producing, and it doesn't look like there's enough of a ceiling to make this worth dealing with this kind of thing. I think he's an outright drop, unfortunately, in 12 and maybe even 14 team leagues, but I will tip my hat to him. It's been a great season, and it's a good player, and I think he can do things. Just you don't have James Harden traded to your team every day. So good job, Jalen. And Doc, who do you got next?
I'm going to go with Trey Jones, the Chicago point guard. He's been back from his injury for 3 games, 22 minutes, 26 minutes, 23 minutes. Kind of boring numbers in those 3 games he's been back. It's 9 points, 5 dimes, and a steal, and no threes, no blocks, no rebounds. It's just kind of been rough. And with Josh Giddey back in the mix, and they've got Anthony Simons, and they've just got guys. And I just feel like Trey Jones might be being squeezed out. Then again, it might just be rust returning from the injury. Maybe he goes off in his next game. But if you got Trey Jones, are you trying to drop him, or you rolling with him?
He was on my targets list this week. I didn't. He was down the list, so I didn't get him anywhere. So I'm thinking distressed asset thoughts right now is eventually this minute restriction, and a little bit of the kind of the musical chairs in Chicago. Like, I mean, you got Rob Dillingham running around getting all the leash in the world, which is just hilarious for Billy Donovan. He's like purposely giving him leash. He wouldn't do this with somebody that he actually valued highly. I don't think. They're just kicking the tires on him. And then you get Jaden Ivey. They're like, okay, let's see what you can do. Oh crap, you're hurt. And then it's back to the normal crew, and they're on this 24-minute restriction and in the early part of their return. So I'm optimistic that it's not like over for Trey Jones. It's just a mess in Chicago.
And I don't really trust that Josh Giddey's going to finish this thing out either. I mean, he came back from his injury, and he's honestly looked like crap thus far. So it may not be over for Trey Jones. It's just been rough. His 3 games back have been about as rough as Josh Giddey's.
The hilarious thing with Chicago is because they can't ever do anything right over there is they say they want to tank, and it's going to be hard for them. Like Dallas at 20 and Memphis at 21 wins, with those teams kind of firmly into their tank. We can argue about Dallas a little bit, but like they're firmly into their tank. And Chicago's now got to see if Josh Giddey, can get some good reps here. I don't think Josh Giddey wants to hang it up. I don't think they want to hang it up, but like they're not going to catch those 2 teams. And this probably bodes well for Josh Giddey. It won't maybe, you got to use the word maybe a lot these days, maybe be as aggressive of a tank as we're seeing with these other teams. If you can't catch them, you might as well get good development. And Billy Donovan is a development guy. So I've got Giddey in a couple places. I'm cautiously optimistic that it's not like Washington, where I'll go next. Oh, hi, Washington. I love you guys. You're not throwing games. You're not doing the Utah thing. I don't know who's worse right now, Utah or Washington. And the problem with this is because Utah was able to everybody's got to push the boundary, right? Like now Utah is like, well, we'll just bench our guys in the 4th quarter, i.e. throw games. I had a guy tweet at me. I had a guy who tweets nonsense to me constantly. And he made a great point. It's like, how is this not like match fixing? You'd hear about match fixing and, like in tennis or something. And, that people get in trouble for it. Like
high lie.
Yeah. Like, how is sitting your player in the 4th quarter not some form of match fixing? Like somebody knows somewhere that's going to happen, and you can't trickle that information out to the masses and create a massive conflict of interest. Well, Washington sees Utah do this, and they go, well, we could do it whatever we want too. So, guys, I don't know about their injuries. Justin Champagnie, Keyshawn George, Tristan Vukcevic, and there's more. I mean, your guy, Alexander Sarr. I mean, just anybody, right? In Washington is now their injuries are suspect. Also, I wonder, as players, are you getting tired of getting injury tags that can be theoretically held against you in contract negotiations down the road? Just a thought I'm having. Justin Champagnie has been yanked around this rotation throughout the last couple months, and every time he's got momentum, something weird happens in Washington. Well, he's the first one that got axed on all of my teams this week. And it's just simply because if you're not able to consistently produce at top 75 level, before all of this, why am I going to bet that you're going to just keep going? Now, he might just keep going. He was one of the big winners, quote unquote, of the trade deadline. A lot of air quotes with that stuff these days. And that might happen, but I'm willing to lose the bet, and it's fine because, I'd rather cut the cord now with this stuff and then, get better players and better tanking positions than Justin Champagny. Next, Keyshawn George. He got the old 18 minutes last night.
Everybody gets 18 minutes for Washington now.
Yeah, it's like a damn little league or something, with participation trophies for just showing up. And heaven forbid you pay to attend an NBA game right now. Like, holy moly. But yeah, no, Keyshawn George, he got his 18 minutes. And what's interesting about this and why I held Keyshawn George this week and Tristan Vukcevic is, in the case of Keyshawn George, he might get a green light. And if he's in these 20-minute games, he might get the green light to just go chuck and just go try to get defensive stats. It doesn't matter about foul trouble. You're just going to go out there and try to rack it up. He had 13 points, 2 boards, 1 assist, 1 steal, 1 block, 2 threes. That actually freaking plays. He's a top 60 guy when he's cut loose. If they were to actually prioritize development in Washington and let him have the ball, he could be a top 48 cat guy. The turnovers make him really problematic in 9-cat leagues unless you don't care about that stuff, which then he's back at top 40 and top 50. That's a very big upside. And I just don't want to give it up just this week, because what I want to know is with both George, who participated in an All-Star weekend, by the way, which is hilarious as well. He and Vukcevic, who just got the deal, the full season 3-year deal. Are they actually hurt? Like, there's a 20% chance that they're actually hurt and that it makes sense to use the injury as a shield to continue with these tanks. By the way, Washington can't even do that right. They keep winning as they're pulling guys left and right that might help them. They should just fall down on the court and lay on the floor. But if Keyshawn George and any of these guys is actually healthy, maybe they actually do play. So I'm going to hang on to Keyshawn George. I'm going to hang on to Tristan Vukcevic for one more week. Sorry, I spent a lot of time on that, but that's a big one for a lot of folks. Doc, who do you got?
Yeah, I mean, Washington's tough, man. I've been screaming Vukcevic off the rooftops, and you look at their box score, and it's like 15 guys played 17 minutes, and it just stinks. And it like Indy, at least you can kind of depend on Jarris Walker to go out there and ball out every night. Like, I really thought that by now Keyshawn and Vukcevic would be out there going nuts every night for Washington, but it's just not happening. Next on my list is a man that I'm convinced hates basketball. Brew, he's a center.
This is so great.
He's a center, and he plays in the West. Can you guess who I'm talking about?
Was it snowing in was it
Jamaica?
Bahamas? Is it snowing in the Bahamas?
Oh man, DeAndre Ayton, dude. You look at his game log, and it's just so blah. Like, there's nothing there that I want to see. So, in his 6 games in February, 8.8 points, 7.2 rebounds, 0.7 blocks, 0.5 steals. He can't even shoot free throws. He was 0 for 3 from the line on Monday. It's just a bunch of nothing. And for a while there, we thought Ayton looked different at the start of the season. Like, hey, I'm playing with LeBron and Luka. I'm gonna go out here and help these guys out. But I just don't feel like that is happening. And I'm just thankful I don't have to deal with DeAndre Ayton.
I kind of give players way too much rope with this. Do they care bit? Like Nikola Jokic. A lot of people are like, he cares more about his horses than he cares about NBA. And I'm like, that doesn't. No, I don't buy any of that. With Ayton, I actually buy it because mostly just the look on his face half the time. Also, I could get deeper into it, but yeah, no, it's a mess, and I don't think it's getting much better. But he's going to have a late round value, so it's tough to drop the guy. Dante DiVincenzo's my last drop as we get out of the drop zone here, and I'm not dropping him, but it was a bad couple weeks there. Percentages in the tank. Ayo Dosunmu shows up. You start to wonder, is there enough food to go around here in Minnesota? And then he bounced back this week, and over the last 2 games, 10 points, but 5.5 boards, 6 assists, the 3 threes. It plays enough, and the role is really, I think, the draw here. He's not going away, and Ayo Dosunmu is going to stick around. He's going to do Ayo Dosunmu stuff, and he may not hang in as a complete top 100, top 125 late round value, but Both players, I think, are both good enough and have enough base role in this to survive and be viable and maybe even have some pop in the case of Dante DiVincenzo, because when he gets hot, it starts to get good real quick. All right, Doc, who is your top streamer heading into tonight's slate?
I don't know if he's my top one, but he's the first one I wrote down because he's a guard and I was going in position order. Dylan Harper of the Spurs with only 3 games tonight. I think he's a pretty good streaming option. And, if you're playing DFS, I think he's probably worth a look. Nice, cheap salary over at FanDuel. Look, those Spurs are undefeated in February. And Dylan Harper has scored in double figures in all but one of those games. And the one he didn't, he had 9 points, 5 boards, 2 assists, 2 blocks. And that was just in 19 minutes. So he would really benefit from one of his teammates getting hurt so we could get him up to 25 to 30 minutes per game instead of the 25 he's kind of capped at. But 13 points, 4 boards, 4.5 assists, 0.6 blocks and steals, and 0.73. So he's not quite at 1-1-1 where we want him to be, but on a 3-game night, I think Dylan Harper is a decent stream for the Spurs.
I need to notify my family that I will not be available from 4:10 Pacific time to whenever that game ends, and that I'll gladly be available for the Sacramento-Memphis game.
Well, you said that you was something about, oh my God, what if you paid for an NBA game right now? I'd pay to see the Spurs and Pistons, dude, all day.
Oh God. Oh, okay. And I guess you probably got to be thrilled that Isaiah Stewart's not playing in this game, because Wemby and company, they're going to get a freaking punch in the face in this game at home. Detroit fired up, wants to prove that they're good. San Antonio obviously going to circle this game as well, and they're going to body him. And there are a lot of players that could do damage, and it's all about getting into his hips and his lower body to move him out of the paint. And that's where, kind of bad things can happen for a guy that's that tall. I think there's going to be a story throughout Wemby's career, is just kind of keeping the guys. They're going to need enforcers in San Antonio for when the players come and do that stuff, that they can get in there and make them pay and get the referee's attention on that sort of a thing. But my read on this game, I don't know if you made a play or did FanDuel odds. I was just thinking about the game in my head, so I was completely tuning you out, which is something that I never do. But the toughest players for the Spurs are going to be the ones that are going to be needed in this game. So like Stephon Castle, I think, comes right to the top of the list. This is a guy that would absolutely get in there and mix it up. Fox is going to have a little bit of trouble if he doesn't come in with his A game, because that's where he can get a little bit pushed off of his line, and just anybody who's got strength that can withstand the defensive issues there. All right, let's talk about another streamer from that game. I'll take Paul Reed. Probably not a surprise. I mean, Paul Reed's probably not even dropped in a lot of formats. I did see him available in high stakes, which was interesting. I don't know why that happened, to be honest, but he is somebody that, despite the fact that Jalen Duren is back, he can fit into that backup role with Isaiah Stewart out due to suspension, and he can just go in there in his 20 minutes and probably get you a top 75 line. No questions asked. All right, Doc, who else you got?
We talked about him already. G.G. Jackson, obvious streamer tonight if he's not rostered. I would hope that by now, after his last 3 games or so, that people are catching on that, hey, I should probably pick G.G. Jackson up. But he's still not super expensive in DFS. He's still available in more leagues than he should be. So if Gigi's out there, tonight is the night to run him out there.
Not to mention, look at the opponent. I mean, the Sacramento Kings on the road, and there's so many different layers to their mess, but at the end of the day, it just results in the other team having an easy experience. And GG could absolutely break the box score tonight. That's going to be a fun one. I'll take the other side of the coin in this one, Doc, and I'll take a kind of contrarian pick. Devin Carter, just like 6 minutes in the last game, and probably drop like a rock after that. He's not that good. It's been really painful watching Sacramento kind of like try to make him a thing throughout all this time. And there's a shoulder injury or two, or maybe even more, that have held him back. But it's mostly the decision making and just the way that he kind of conducts himself out there on the court that's not really conducive to where he's at in his career and or winning. And so Sacramento threw him out there a bunch prior to this dud. And yeah, they picked up who'd they pick up? It was old Detroit guy, point guard. They're adding players. It's old Piston that never worked out. I'm sure we'll get that one in my brain at some point. But
Sasser?
No. It was their 6th overall pick, Killian Hayes. Thanks,
Killian Hayes.
For keeping my brain on track here. Oh, I guess he's French. Killian Hayes. I don't think they're going to throw Killian Hayes like in the mix tonight. They could, but I think what they'll do with Devin Carter is, this was the pullback, and then here's the let's go again. Unless there's an injury we don't know about, which is possible. So if you're looking for somebody that is available on waiver wires that has some potential to maybe go something like 12-5-5 and some defensive stats, and it's looking pretty thin on your wire, I like Devin Carter for a bounce back. Doc, who do you got next?
I got your guy, Kyle Filipowski. If you look at his game log in February, he's had 4 games where he played at least 28 minutes. In those 4 games, he absolutely went off. Then he's got 4 games where he didn't play that many minutes, and his numbers were trash. So there's really no way to figure out what's going to happen. But he had 28 minutes on Friday. He had 30 minutes on Thursday. Just went off in those games. 20 points, 6 boards, 4 assists, 2 blocks, 2 steals with a 3. The other game was 15, 9, and 3 with 6 steals and a 3-pointer. Like, Filipowski's feeling it right now. And if he gets minutes tonight, he's going to go off. And I think he's got a good matchup.
Now, I think Laurie might be trending toward playing. And
yeah, he's probable.
So that's also funny, I guess. He's surviving longer. Michael Porter's surviving longer than maybe the worst case scenarios of these players that were super productive, but playing for bad tanking teams. We'll have to track that. But to me, it's Kyle Filipowski season. I think he's a must roster guy. There's going to be some ups and downs in the next couple of weeks. Keontae George, I think, is questionable for this one. So he might be back in the mix and doing stuff. But eventually it's going to be Kyle Filipowski leading the tank. Let's get to a guy that I had loathed to call a streamer, and his name is Cam Spencer. And the Cam Spencer thing just never happened, really. And that's a bummer. I think trading Jaren Jackson Jr. and having a trade partner that was willing to give up 3 first-round draft picks and Walter Clayton, shout out Utah, it's something you have to do if you're the Memphis Grizzlies. That's a really smart thing that they did there. And it just took this team from semi-serious to not serious at all in 0.1 seconds. And Cam Spencer now is playing with like 5 or 6 guards and just sort of hanging out. They do run Cam Spencer stuff still when he's on the floor, but they have too many connectors and not enough scorers. And he's just now a guy in the mix. And they're rotating a guard in and out of the rotation, maybe 2 every single night, and there's no continuity, and the shooting's been hit or miss. It's been a total mess. His percentages are really good, and his actual value is not dipped beneath 150 despite all of this. He is the proverbial 24-minute at top 125 guy, and so to that end, he's actually still producing, but he's just looked so bad lately and not in the middle of a 30%er kind of shooting slump. It's bad. So now the bounce back is just sitting there waiting for you because he's available in a lot of leagues. And I think he's a guy that, unless he's ruled out for a game, you can count on him getting his 22 minutes per game and some late round numbers. Doc, you got anybody else to stream tonight?
Tobias Harris, just not really my guy, but he's been so good. The last time he didn't score in double figures was a month ago today. His last game out, he got 14 shots up. He got 16 shots the game before that. 18.6 boards, 4 steals, 2 threes. He's just kind of doing what he needs to do right now. And he's going to play 30 minutes against the Spurs tonight. He's going to do his thing, and he's going to put up decent numbers. So I like the Tobias Harris stream if he's not owned already.
I'm looking at those Sacramento Kings odds right now. Memphis -3. And Sacramento, I think, has lost 16 straight. So there's some pressure here, quote unquote, pressure for them to stop losing games. But they are so checked out. Like, oh my God, they are checked out. Memphis -3, worth a 1 unit play. Who you got tonight, Doc? Did you make a play with San Antonio, Detroit?
I did, but I was going to talk about that in the next show. Would you like for me to go over it now?
No, not at all. That's fine. All right. That's going to do it. You see what I put up with here, folks?
Andre's
this guy
like,
and that other guy.
Andre's like, hey, are we going to do a second show? Or
I don't know what planet we're on. If you're listening
so
to the pod
good.
feed, take 60 seconds, leave a 5-star review. It really helps us out. If you're listening on YouTube, hit the thumbs up button and subscribe to the Sports Ethos channel so you guys never miss an episode. From Doc, Andre, and everybody here at Sports Ethos, we'll be right back with our daily fantasy deep dive, where we will do part 2 of the show. Talk about all these things that I attempted to talk about right now. That's available exclusively on the Fantasy NBA Today pod feed and the Sports Ethos YouTube channel. This has been Fantasy NBA Today, presented by FanDuel.
FanDuel.
And all those odds were over at FanDuel, everybody. FanDuel. We love FanDuel.
I do. I love FanDuel.
Actually, do.
FanDuel.